How's it going, guys? Welcome back to Sports Talk with John. Here in my new home that we're going to be doing from now on. Each video, each recording, each episode is now going to be from this little section of my place. Got it all set up here, as you can see behind me. All sports related. Love it. I love it. I have to give a little shout out to my loving fiance who set that all up for me. I really, really do appreciate it. But you know what? Let's get started, shall we? First thing I want to talk about today, honestly, is the dissolving of the Pac-12. Like, I don't know what's going on. Honestly, like all of a sudden. So for those of you that don't know, the Pac-12 is pretty much now fixing to be gone. There's not going to be a Pac-12 anymore because as of last night, 8 of the 12 schools will now be leaving by 2024. So USC and UCLA were the first dominoes to fall. So they're going to the Big Ten starting next year. Then Oregon and Washington, out of nowhere, are following them. Same thing, they're going to the Big Ten. Then Colorado and Arizona are going to the Big 12. Then, as of last night, Utah and Arizona State are jumping ship to the Big 12 too. So that's only going to leave Stanford, Oregon State, Washington State, and Cal. To me, what I think is going to happen is Stanford's going to go independent because they got a lot of rivalry games, kind of like Notre Dame. So they're going to more than likely go independent. Then I think after that, it's going to be the other 3, I think are going to go to the Mountain West. Honestly, that's my take on that. I think they're going to go to the Mountain West. It's kind of sad, to see the Pac-12 just dissipate like this. Like, just out of nowhere. I mean, yeah, USC and UCLA, we've known for a little while that they were leaving, but now all of a sudden, everybody's just jumping ship left and right. I think it has to do with a few factors. One, the Pac-12, there's no money. Like, there's no money in the TV deals, and that's the main cause of this move for these teams is the TV rights, the media deals, the money, And who the hell on the East Coast wants to stay up until 11 o'clock at night to see a game on a Saturday night? I mean, some people do, but I don't. I mean, I'm not even on the East Coast, and I don't want to stay up that friggin' late to watch Cal and Stanford play or Colorado and UCLA or, whoever. Like, there's no excitement in it. So I honestly see why these teams are jumping ship. Honestly, it's sad. It's very, very sad. Don't get me wrong. I don't like it, but you know what? Hey, what can you do, right? So I also think that it's a good move for a lot of these teams, because a lot of these super conferences are now coming together when it comes to college. The Big Ten's going to have 18 schools once this goes down. The Big 12's going to have more schools. The SEC is already adding Texas and Oklahoma next year. What's next? Now I'm hearing also Florida State, they're talking about jumping ship from the ACC. So in my personal opinion, and you guys can comment and you guys can give me your opinions on this too, but I think eventually, here in the next couple of years, there's not going to be an ACC. There's not going to be a Pac-12. Well, we already know there's not going to be a Pac-12. Pac-12's gone. Literally after next year, the Pac-12's gone. Is the ACC the next domino to fall? What about Conference USA? What about the American? What about all these other smaller conferences that are still around? Are they going to start to fall too? Or are we going to eventually, in the next few years, be down to just the Big 10, the Big 12, and the SEC? Are we just going to have 3 super conferences at that point? Hell, if you're going to do that, you might as well just make the playoff system, I know it's going to 12 teams here. I can't remember if it's next year or the year after. Don't quote me. You might as well just make it like the NFL. Like, if you're going to just do if you're going to do super conferences like this, because it seems like that's the way this is going. The thing is, why I say that is because these teams that are joining these other conferences are not going to have a chance. You want to give everybody a fair and equal amount of chance to make this playoff. Because at the end of the day, if it was down, it would be the same teams almost every year. It'd be the Georgias, the Alabamas, the Michigans, the Ohio States, the Clemsons, friggin' the USCs, Texas might get thrown in there a little bit. You know, you might get Tennessee once in a while, but pretty much it'd be all the same teams almost every year. Like, because that also has to do with recruiting too. So I can't necessarily blame those teams because they recruit good, you know. And when you get good recruits, you're gonna have a good team, especially if you coach them right. But I'm very, very sad, though, that the Pac-12 is dissipating. I had a lot of high hopes for them. You know, they've been a conference for a long, long time. But, I mean, the Southwest Conference disbanded, too, eventually. I mean, it happens. It's the circle of life of college football. There's nothing you can do about it. But the way it's going now is literally, eventually, like I said, there's going to only be 3 conferences left. I guarantee it. And maybe even 2. Because, honestly, I look at the Big 12, and to me, there's no competition in the Big 12. Once Texas and OU leave after this year, the Big 12 is literally down to nothing. It's literally going to be another reincarnation of the American Conference. To me, guys, and you can give me your opinion on this if you want, who in that conference is going to be competitive? Maybe TCU, maybe Baylor, maybe Oklahoma State. That's it. Arizona and Arizona State ain't never good. Utah's up and coming, so I do got a little bit of high hopes for Utah. They might be able to make it interesting. But you're not going to replace the popularity of Texas OU? Absolutely not. The Big 12 is really losing a lot of money with Texas and OU going to the SEC. They're losing so much money. And honestly, they ain't replacing them with really much. BYU, Central Florida, Cincinnati, Houston. The Big 12 is down to nothing. Literally, the Big 12 is down to nothing. They're not going to have the TV. They're not going to have the TV expose like they did before. You're going to get, like I said, you're going to get some exposure because, you know, you got your fans of those teams in those areas. So, yes, you do got your homegrown fans. But when it comes to a nationwide scale, ain't nobody going to care. Like me, I'm a Longhorns fan. Have been since 2003. Texas going to the SEC. I got no desire to watch the Big 12. None anymore. I don't care about the Big 12. This is my last year of this college football season that I'm going to care about the Big 12. I'm going to the SEC. You know, so I'm going to care more about the SEC, which I already do to begin with. I love the SEC. To me, the SEC is where the college football is at. You can argue with me all you want, but that is where the college football is at. It is the SEC. So, again, it remains to be seen. I do want to move on, though. I want to talk some NFL football. You know, I'm excited. Guys, I am so excited. We are almost a month away from opening weekend of NFL football. I can't wait. Preseason starts this coming week. The next week, I should say. I think a week from tomorrow is when it starts. I can't wait. You know, I'm very excited. I know all you guys, all you football fans out there, y'all are excited too. I want to go over something, though. I want to talk, you know, teams that I've seen so far, training camp-wise, that I think are going to be a force. So, first one I want to start out with is Luke Anderson, buddy, this is a shout out to you, by the way. The Philadelphia friggin' Eagles. So I'm looking at this Eagles team, all right, and they scare me. I'm going to be honest with you guys. They scare the shit out of me because, to me, they got better this year, and this is how. Their offense pretty much kept everybody intact, which was good. They needed to keep everybody intact on the offense. Yeah, they lost Miles Sanders at running back. That was a little bit. That's a little bit of a blow because he went to Carolina. But they're still gonna be okay because they got. I think they got Rashad Penny, if I'm correct, from the Seahawks. So I think they're gonna be okay. Their running backs weren't really the force of their team to begin with, and Luke, you know that too. You and I have discussed that many a times. So I don't think the running game is going to really affect y'all's team this year. Your O-line is great. Your tight ends, your receivers. Oh, your receivers. A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. Those two guys have got to be one of the best duo receivers in the league, if not the best. Like, they showed last season how dominant they really were. And with Jalen Hurts at quarterback, like, that team was a friggin' juggernaut. If they can replicate that this year, with, of course, you know, Hurts got injured a little bit near the end of the year. They had a couple of losses come their way because of it. I think they lost like 2 games in a row late in the season because of it. I know one of them was to Dallas. I think the other one was to the Saints, if I'm correct. But they already had the number 1 seed locked up, so they really didn't have to worry about, you know, winning or losing those games. The thing is, their defense. Now, everybody forgets the Eagles' defense was definitely one of the best last year. They weren't the best. I think the best defense was San Fran, but they were definitely top 3. And it showed. Like, the way that Nick Sirianni is building that team, he has juggernauts everywhere. He's got pretty much the whole Georgia Bulldogs defense on his team now. Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, Nakobe Dean, Kaylee Ringo. They got another guy, I think, at linebacker. I can't remember his name right now. They got him this year too. But they got all these juggernauts, and then adding on top of it like Brandon Graham, James Bradbury. Yeah, they lost C.J. Gardner-Johnson. That wasn't a big deal though. You know, they can recover from that. Their DBs were already good to begin with. Like, the Georgia defense is a juggernaut. Or not the Georgia defense, the Eagles defense, sorry, is a juggernaut. They added the Georgia defense to that juggernaut. Now, if those guys can translate that success into the NFL from Georgia University, the Eagles defense might be, in my honest opinion, and I'm going on a whim here, and you can put me down for this if you want, but I would put them up there as probably one of the greatest defenses of all time. Like, and we're talking Doomsday Dallas, New York Sack Exchange, like the LA Rams defense back in the Deacon Jones days, the Atlanta Falcons defense of the 70s that broke a lot of records, the 2000 Ray Lewis led Ravens, the boogeyman defense of the New England Patriots. Like, we're talking, they might be up there with some of the all-time greatest defenses ever if those guys can translate it to the NFL. It might not be this year. It might not be next year, but I think in the near future, the Eagles defense, if they keep all those guys together, will become one of the greatest all-time defenses ever. I mark me down for it. I can see it. They're well coached. Yes, they did lose their defensive coordinator in Jonathan Gannon. I will say that. That is a very big factor because he went to go coach the shitty Arizona Cardinals. which I'm not even going to get started on that team. I got to save that. That'd be a whole episode for how bad they are. But that might hurt. But I think they can be okay from it. I really do. Because they brought up one of their linebackers coaches. I think they promoted him to DC. So I think they're going to be okay. I really do. Luke, buddy, your Philadelphia Eagles, mark me down for this. I think you guys are going 14-3 this year, judging from your schedule. I think it's a 14-3 season, another #1 seed overall. That's my prediction, and I'm sticking to it. Fly, Eagles, fly. I think it is going to be a good season for you guys again. And I can't wait for week 1 when my Patriots play you guys. You guys are probably going to beat us. I'm already expecting it. But it's going to be a great game, and I'm not going to be disappointed whatever happens because, honestly, I'd like to see both teams succeed, especially my Patriots. I'm going to get to them later. Another team I want to discuss, and this is a shout out to all my Cowboys fans out there. I got a lot of them. There's too many for me to name right now. But I got to go over your guys' team. So, the Cowboys. Okay, so where do I start with the Dallas flipping Cowboys? All right. They entertain me every year. I got Jerry Jones talking on the fucking 105.3 The Fan every day. You know, there's so much drama. So much drama in Dallas. Every friggin' year there's so much drama. Now, looking at last season, another 12-5 year, second year in a row. They took out Tom Brady and the Buccaneers in the first round, which I knew they were going to. I don't know why, but I knew they were going to. Then they go and play San Fran, second year in a row. If it wasn't for that Dallas defense, they would have got destroyed. Because I'll tell you, that Dallas offense and that playoff game last year was pathetic. Dallas went through a lot of growing pains last year. You know, they lost Dak for 5 games. They went 4-1 in those 5 games. Honestly, at first, when Dak went down, I said this season was over. I said, you guys ain't even going to make the playoffs this year. They did. They did. They still had a 12-5 year, which was really good, you know, which was really, really good. So, now, going into this season, so Dallas needed some upgrades, okay? They lost Dalton Schultz. He went to the Texans. That was a bit of a hit. I kind of knew he was leaving. Honestly, because they slapped him with the franchise tag before last season, and he pretty much had said that he was done. He was going to play out his 1 year, and then he was going to go to another team. He didn't want to be there anymore. Tony Pollard gets the tag this year. So he's coming off of a major injury from the San Francisco game. He pretty much shattered his whole leg. Like, he's going to be somebody to watch out for because I want to see how he does. I don't think he's going to be the same. I really don't. I think he's going to lose a step. So I think that's going to hurt Dallas a little bit. The tight end position is up in the air. I don't trust. I mean, they drafted a guy this year, but I just don't think the tight ends they have are of good quality yet because they're very young. You know, they're very young and they need to develop a little bit more. The O-line is old. Dallas's O-line is old as hell. Tyron Smith is getting old. Zach Martin is holding out because he doesn't want to make the money he's making. He wants more money. I get it. He's one of the best guys in the league still at his age. And then there's just a lot of uncertainty with the other linemen too. You know, Biotish is okay at center. Terrence Steele, he's coming off of ACL. I don't know how he's going to be at the right tackle position. And then they got Tyler Smith. So he's still young. He's still up and coming too. So I want to see how the Dallas offense looks. And Dak. Dak is the biggest question mark because he had a bad year last year. You know, he had the league lead in interceptions and he didn't even play every game. Can you imagine that? He played 12 games last year. 12 out of 17 because he missed 5 games, okay? He led the league in interceptions thrown in 12 games. I think he threw 17 interceptions in 12 games. That's pretty bad. That's really bad. That's at least an interception. That's an interception and a half a game. That's bad. That's terrible. You know, and turnovers is what kill you in a game. Dak has got to fix that. Now, do I think their offense got better? Maybe. They did go out and get Brandon Cooks from the Texans. That was a smart move to help out CeeDee Lamb, to help out Gallup. You know, that was a great move. He's a good number 3 option. And that's what Dallas needed. They needed another option at wide receiver. So, but how is the offense going to look play calling wise with Mike McCarthy? I don't know. It's definitely going to be different than it was under Kellen Moore. And to me, what Jerry Jones is blabbing his mouth about saying, oh, we're making the offense simplified for Dak, so it's easier for him, and it'll help him with his reads. And blah. The fact that you're saying that and that you're simplifying your offense, I'm sorry, Dallas fans, you can criticize me for what I'm about to say here. You guys are fixing to become the New England Patriots offense of last year, if that's the case. Because if you're having to simplify your offense for your quarterback, it's not going to be good. Because the Patriots did that last season and look how that turned out. You better hope that Mike McCarthy does not be stupid and simplify it too much, or you guys are going to be easy to predict and your offense ain't going to do nothing. Now, where you guys' strength is, though, is your defense. Your Dan Quinn-led defense. Okay. Your defense is great. You solidified the D-line this year, which is what you needed to do. You got Van Der Esch back. You know, Micah Parsons is still getting better. DeMarcus Lawrence is coming off a Pro Bowl caliber year. Mark Rathman, I know you hate DeMarcus Lawrence with a passion, but I keep trying to tell you he's a damn good player. You went out and got Stephon Gilmore to help out on the outside with Trayvon Diggs. Your safeties are good. You got depth at the corner position. Now, if you guys can keep that up, your defense can do good. But they can't win your games for you. They will keep you in your games. But this goes back to what I said about your offense being simplified. If your offense is that simplified, there's a problem. You can't do that. I really, and Dallas, y'all fucking get me going so much. You guys' team gets me going so much. But I want to see Dallas go more than 12-5 this year. I do. But something is telling me that is their ceiling. To me, unless their defense plays stellar and lights out, and the offense doesn't get dumbed down too much to where they get figured out by every team, they'll be okay. I'm not giving you guys a 12-5 record though this year. You guys will go 10-7. And that's what I'm thinking. 12-5 is your ceiling. I think that will be the most you guys will go, but I'm going a little bit lower. I think you guys are going 10-7 this year. That's just my prediction. So I wanna stop here though, guys. I'm gonna have another episode probably sometime next week. I'm gonna go over. We're gonna go over some Patriots. I'm gonna do a deep dive into the Patriots. The Raiders next week. I'm also gonna deep dive into the MLB season right now too, because that's pretty much almost getting into the home stretch. Guys, if you like my videos, please follow my YouTube channel. I will be posting this on YouTube, Facebook, to all my followers that know my show. Of course, I will definitely personally send it in via text for you guys. But guys, for now, you have a great rest of your day. It's a beautiful day down in Texas, another hot one, about 105 degrees as always. If you're down here, stay hydrated, stay cool. And you guys have a great weekend. I will talk to you all sometime next week.